So can Wanda be redeemed after all of the death and destruction and chaos that she was causing in this movie? And are the X-Men now going to come in sooner than we think? Let's discuss all of that and more right now. What is up, everybody? Hope you're having a brilliant day. So we've just got the big massive release of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and in this video we are going to be doing a full-on spoiler review. So this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't checked out Multiverse of Madness, then what are you doing? Hurry up and go out there and watch the movie in the cinemas and then come back to the spoiler review. However, if you don't mind things being spoiled, then definitely stay around and you can check out all of the different individual bits if you want to jump into them, as we have got all of our chapter breakdowns listed out in the description box below. But let's begin with our thoughts on the movie. And I have to say, from the beginning, I absolutely loved Multiverse of Madness. This was such a fun ride of a movie. It literally felt like a roller coaster, absolutely very similarly to Venom Let There Be Carnage, in terms of the movie just going from the get-go, and it literally just did not stop. Action sequence after action sequence, and it was just so captivating. Absolutely loved exploring the multiverse, and just Wanda's destructive journey was just so captivating. I, like most other people as well, did get really carried away with the possibilities of what the multiverse could lead to. For example, seeing the X-Men, seeing the Inhumans, seeing so many legendary characters that have been introduced prior to the launch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I got really carried away with all of those possibilities. So the fact that we didn't get to see as many people as we thought we could have seen, I was a little bit disappointed. But that being said, that doesn't take away from the fact that this is such a wicked character study of a movie, in a very similar way to how Moon Knight was with the Stephen Grant character, with Jake Lockley, and of course Mark Spector leading the way. And in a very similar way, gosh, it was so brilliant to have a true sequel from a movie perspective with the Wanda Maximoff character, and she is now truly transformed into the dark, cold version of Scarlett Witch. On that point, I did think it was a little bit rushed in terms of suddenly her becoming this evil version of this truly beloved character. I would have loved it if they had just dived into that a little bit more in terms of seeing the transformation, and maybe in the removed footage we would have seen a little bit of that. It was really difficult to really root for this character in the same way as we really were rooting for her in WandaVision, as like I said, she was causing so much death, chaos and destruction. In her way, a true powerhouse of a character, literally unstoppable. The way in which she annihilated all of the Illuminati and destroyed so many people in Kamar-Taj. This character was just unstoppable. I loved it in the final act of this movie when she was just calling Stephen Strange an absolute hypocrite for actually dreamwalking and using the Darkhold for his own abilities. I loved it. Even though you couldn't really agree with all of the chaos that Wanda was causing, I absolutely loved it how they really did try to get you to understand her perspective. And even though, you know, Doctor Strange was wiping out half of the whole universe by handing over the Time Stone to Thanos, the way in which Wanda was just referring back to this and saying her iconic line of, you know, you do this and you're deemed to be a hero, and then when I do it, I'm deemed to be a villain. Absolutely loved it. And just the terror of the dark powers of the Darkhold was just really shown over this movie, as well as the WandaVision series as well. As obviously there we got to see the corruption of the Agatha Harkness character, and here we also got to see the true corruptness that it does to the beloved Wanda character. And we also, through the multiverse, got to see the corruption of the Doctor Strange character as well. Speaking of Doctor Strange and the multiverse, the way in which he was controlling the zombified version of his character, I thought was absolutely wicked. I wasn't totally convinced on the musical battle between him and the Darkhold version of Doctor Strange as well. But that being said, all of the CGI, all of the battles, everything was just looking so brilliant. Especially Wanda's throne at the top of this mountain. I absolutely loved it. It looked so, so cool. And this definitely is not the last time that we've seen Scarlet Witch and Wanda. Maybe that's what they want you to think is happening, but of course this character is going to return, given the fact that she is just so powerful. And like I said, she is just super beloved as well. And obviously, we're now going to get the X-Men into the MCU. I cannot wait to have mutants in the MCU. And of course, Wanda is such a massive part of the whole mutant storyline, especially being the daughter of Magneto and having a sister in Polaris as well, and of course a brother in Quicksilver. I just can't wait to see this character interacting with the new versions of the X-Men. And speaking of which, this other universe, Earth 838, had Inhumans, it had mutants, it had the Fantastic Four, it had the Avengers, it had humans. Absolutely can't wait to see the MCU, Earth 616, having the very similar group of different type of characters We need to get the Inhumans in here, we need to get the mutants in here, and I just can't wait for the future of the MCU, as it's going to be so bright, especially with all these new brilliant characters entering into the fold. I did miss not having Vision in this movie. I guess they didn't want to have Paul Bettany in this film, as they really wanted to focus on Wanda and on Doctor Strange, and of course in America as well. But I just really missed his presence, especially as he was such a big presence in WandaVision. And speaking of which, the Wanda character is just miles apart, very, very different to the character that we did see in WandaVision. And I absolutely love the interactions between the Wanda in Westview and this Scarlet Witch version of the Wanda character, literally miles apart. Of course, that is their intention, as they do want to show the degradation of this character, but you could really tell that this character is such a far cry from the one that we did see in WandaVision. And you could just really also see what would happen to a character that has gone through enormous amounts of emotional turbulence and grief, and what would happen when they suddenly get their hands on so much power and they are able to rewrite the whole world and the whole universe into their own desire. And actually, are they unstoppable, and what do you need to do in order to truly stop them once and for all? I feel like actually this movie, the crux of this film, was actually really, really great. I mean, the three core lead characters do deal with a lot of emotional stuff in their own different way. For example, the way in which Wanda's dealing with her grief is just expressing it through raw pain and emotion, and then this is just amplified even further when she's got the Darkhold abilities. You can also see that the Stephen Strange character is just suppressing all of his emotions, and he's really not expressing what he really thinks, which we really do get to see when Rachel McAdams' variant really pushes him and helps him come to this realization. And also America isn't really dealing with her emotions, for example, the loss of her mothers. I feel like they could have really explored this emotional turbulence of all of these three characters a little bit more. But that being said, it was a really, really adrenaline-fueled fun ride from start to finish. And it was a much more of an emotional-led finale instead of being a true action-packed finale, as I loved it when America was just giving Wanda what she really wants. And actually, when she does get what she wants, her kids are really terrified of her. So I just feel like this was a really clever way for America and Doctor Strange to really stop this character, as you have to get this character to stop herself, because she is actually unstoppable. So I thought that was really, really clever. I love the fact that we've finally got the Illuminati on the map as well, something that is truly comics accurate. And I wasn't sure if this would ever make it into the live action space, but they actually did it really, really well. Even though I would have loved it if there were more cameo appearances, I feel like the ones that we did get were really, really cool. And also, these Illuminati members really did show, if anything, just how truly unstoppable Wanda is, especially from a multiversal point of view, as she was obliterating all of them so easily, and all of the individual deaths were so excruciatingly painful. This movie was just absolutely fantastic, and of course we end it with a post-credit scene where we've got Clea, played by Charlize Theron, entering into the space. I absolutely love the Clea character. We've got a true powerhouse couple now. In a very similar way to Ant-Man and the Wasp, we have potential with Stephen Strange and Clea as they do marry each other in the comic book. So I can't wait to see this journey continuing in the third movie. And I absolutely loved it how they've got a true megastar in the post-credit scene, in a very similar way to how Eternals had Harry Styles in their post-credit scene. And Charlize Theron is just made for Marvel and DC, and it's just really great that the MCU now has this character, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen with her in Doctor Strange 3. On that point, I'm going to do a separate video where I'm going to explore all of the 10 possibilities of what could happen in the third Doctor Strange installment. I absolutely loved Benedict Wong as always, as the Wong character. I love that he's really elevated himself to the Sorcerer Supreme status, and actually he was a really, really great leader, and he really does care for all of the people in Kamar-Taj, and he really is a true powerhouse as well. I do feel like they could update his look to make him look a lot more like a Sorcerer Supreme, as at the moment Doctor Strange definitely does look a lot more like the Sorcerer Supreme. It was really great to give Rachel McAdams a lot more to do in this movie, as the Christine Palmer character really was with them, especially in the final few moments of this movie, especially on all of the journeys. And I'm really glad that they've kind of closed this character's relationship, especially with Stephen Strange, and he's kind of at peace with it now, especially now that we've got Clea in the mix. He can now focus on that relationship instead. But I guess the final big question is, can Wanda be redeemable? I hope that she can, but she has just caused so much death and destruction that I don't know if she can do that. I guess they could have explored it a different route in terms of a variant Wanda Maximoff could have been the true Scarlet Witch causing all of this chaos, and then our Wanda could have saved the day. But I guess they really did want to focus on our Wanda character, transforming into this dark, evil character. On that point, what if other variants are doing the same? Maybe they'll bring other Scarlet Witch variants in the future, and maybe that's how our Wanda character can be redeemed, as she will then be able to stop all of these other pack of evil Wanda characters. And of course, she has to be here when the X-Men and the mutants are finally introduced. That moment is just going to be unbelievable. I absolutely love the X-Men. I feel like all of the X-Men movies, maybe bar Dark Phoenix, are just absolutely unbelievable. And I cannot wait for mutants and X-Men to come into the fold, as it's just going to be absolutely wicked. So those are all of my spoiler thoughts on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and I would love to hear from you, so please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.